4 huge Emmerdale spoilers. Cain Dingle's desperate move as Beowulf spirals. Emmerdale spoilers reveal explosive scenes ahead for some of the village's biggest characters. Emmerdale has kicked off 2026 with explosive storylines, and the ITV soap shows no signs of slowing down as secrets threaten to emerge and shocking truths remain untold in the coming weeks. Recent episodes saw Beowulf unmasked as Ray Walter's killer, following months of the victim being held captive on a farm and forced into grueling labor. Meanwhile, Paddy Kirk has been working tirelessly to shield both his father and Dylan from police scrutiny, particularly as Moira has already been arrested for the deaths of Celia and Anya. Speaking of Moira, her husband, Cain Dingle, has been struggling with her incarceration, facing his prostate cancer diagnosis in isolation. Pushing away those closest to him, Cain remains resolute in supporting Moira whilst battling his own demons. Here's some major spoilers for the soap. Dylan reveals to April that he witnessed Ray's murder and discloses that Bear is responsible. He goes on to describe the circumstances of Ray's death, clarifying that Bear killed him accidentally whilst attempting to prevent him from menacing Paddy. Subsequently, Paddy is incensed when Dylan admits to sharing details of Ray's death with April, whilst Bear becomes increasingly distressed by the mounting tension. When April proposes informing the authorities, Paddy argues this would merely suggest everyone was embroiled in a cover-up. After Dylan informs Paddy that Ray's murder has made headlines, Paddy believes arranging counseling for Bear would be far too dangerous at this juncture. Bear continues to struggle. Meanwhile, Bear discovers April in tears, and she confesses her fear that the police may prosecute her for previous misdeeds. Her openness prompts Bear to share his anguish over Ray's death, with April reassuring him that everyone cares deeply and stands by him. April attempts to comfort Bear, reminding him that Ray was a wicked individual. Overwhelmed and bewildered, Bear becomes emotional. When Paddy returns home, he rushes to support his father, finally recognizing that Bear requires professional support. Paddy consoles a remorseful April, reassuring her that Bear's emotional collapse wasn't down to her, before disclosing his intention to arrange counseling for Bear, notwithstanding the potential complications. Throughout the counseling sessions, Bear experiences overwhelming guilt. At the same time, a troubled Dylan reveals his intense self-hatred to Paddy, declaring himself a curse and maintaining he must depart from the village. Similarly, a self-loathing April dismisses Rona's assertions that she is a victim of exploitation, insisting she deserves punishment for drug dealing. Victoria is horrified by Robert's secret. Victoria receives official confirmation that John's death has been declared a suicide, yet her feelings of guilt persist. Victoria is overwhelmed with remorse over their scheme to sell the farm to Joe and contemplates confessing everything to Cain, despite Robert's objections. Subsequently, Joe calls Robert, eager for any updates on progress. Joe then puts pressure on Robert regarding accelerating the farm sale, warning that he'll plant incriminating evidence himself if Robert fails to comply with Joe's demands. Vic is shocked after overhearing their clandestine conversation. Victoria challenges Robert, who confesses to concealing identification documents at Butler's. Victoria deduces that Joe exploited the footage of her killing John to coerce Robert into submission, and Robert explains he could decline in order to shield her. Victoria finds Robert's admission difficult to process and announces she'll hand herself in to stop Moira from being unjustly jailed. Joe Tate puts pressure on Vic Sugden to sign the contract straight away, warning he'll make her video public if she declines, but Vic demands to take the documents home to review them, leaving Joe frustrated. The following day, Joe turns up at Keeper's and issues an ultimatum. Moira's signature on the sale documents is required within 6 hours, or he will hand Victoria's video to the authorities. Cain attempts to physically compel Bear to report to the police to assist Moira, but Dylan catches Cain aggressively handling Bear and quickly steps in. Cain is shaken when he spots newspaper reports about Moira's murder charges and stays unwavering in his commitment to shield her, whatever the cost. Sarah carefully inquires about his well-being, but Cain maintains that Moira's situation is their sole concern. Sarah accompanies Cain to his hospital appointment. The consultant outlines that the treatment will involve a radical prostatectomy, which visibly concerns Sarah despite her encouraging demeanor. Left by himself, Cain braces himself to confront cancer without Moira but grows agitated and crumples up the hospital leaflet, questioning whether he possesses the strength required.